I must admit that at the inception, but I must also tell you that the capacity here is the uniqueness is that we work with science faculty, chemistry department, science faculty, zoology department, Ministry of Land Use, Institute of Fundamental Studies, and geology department in the Faculty of Science, like this sociology, economics, Department of Wildlife Conservation, Faculty of Medicine, and hospitals. So this is a multi-prompt approach, even though the problem is unique. I must also tell you at the very beginning that it is in a way a bit depressing to understand that the information about animals is there in from grade 8 until grade 11 in the syllabi in science and also in health science. But when there is a real problem, real field practical problem, those who were taught science, those who were taught health science, seem to be in their own tunnels. Nobody seems to be really responsible for it. Nobody is accountable for it. Nobody is interested in finding solutions to it. As scientists, I think we also have to have the inquisitiveness of finding solutions, at least to quantify the problem, identify the spread of the problem, and perhaps even the causes of the problems. Now, if I am to go back to the slide, this is what we would like to see our children to be, them to be happy among the greens. But this is what we have. No trees, no happiness, children wear warm clothing all the time. But in Sri Lanka, you find some children that are extremely happy and among the greens. But some parts of the same country, one of the smallest countries in the world, is also like this. There's no green, lot of brown, no grass, no green, very small house. Perhaps there are many animals that are coming into this homeland. Now, what I'm going to talk about in few slides in time to come is a combination of three things, I should say. The first one is animals and plants. When I go through the agenda of the program of 3 days, I was so happy to see that the spectrum of individuals who are into animals and also into plants are there. Geology, geography is also included, which are essential. And also in land, on land and in water. Now, some tend to forget water, some tend to forget land. This cannot be done. Everything has to be looked at as a composite thing. This problem has increased competition among the species and also between species. That is one aspect of it. The second thing, which is probably the most important thing, which should be discussed in great detail at any conference, is increasing human population, which we can do very little about, and the needs. When people increase, their needs increase as expected, and also so-called development with poor or little thought about biodiversity or animals. Now, I understand that you cannot be thinking of all aspects of all animals in development. One has to make decision, and there has to be good political will to do this. There's no point in scientists getting together and talking about it if there is no political will to back it up. So the development, I should say, as an example, I will tell you that about 40 years ago, river diversions in southern country, Sri Lanka, was done, in which the water was diverted through Bundala, which is a Ramsar site, into the sea. So the Bundala lagoons has almost become fresh water now. What is living in there is not lagoon water things. They are almost freshwater individuals because of the river diversion. I don't have to tell you how important river diversion is in that part of the country to produce more and more rice for people to eat. But it is, there has to be a balance between the two, which we have not been thinking about at those times. I remember working with Professor Ranamana, Professor Chandradit from zoo and geology, not even the water bodies, but also the land. The heavy metals, pesticides and insecticides had come into the land also in the Bundala Park. So this is evidence enough to say that agricultural use with human development carries a lot of waste, heavy metals, the effects of which will take many, many years to come. For example, the population growth can be arrested, can be reduced, can even become zero if heavy metals are there. There are animal species in the world, in other countries, where because of the heavy metals that they have ingested, that their numbers have gone down to levels that are almost extinct. Californian condor is one example. There are very many like that. So we have to be extremely careful. It can be a research topic now, but in time to come, 20, 30 years, it will be a real topic. And also some pets. There's a change in the pet spectrum of people. Now children right now today, they seem to be changing from the conventional pets, dogs, cats, into reptiles, for example. This is a trend that is seen almost all over the world. This means we are introducing many things with the animals. We all know very well that more than 60% of the human diseases come from animals. So what do we get in addition to pets from these animals that are not domesticated, so to speak? Many, many other diseases, of which the spectrum is not even known now. Now, for example, medical doctors here would find it difficult to detect malaria in people because malaria had not been in system for so long. But what if we import more sicknesses from the wild? So these are things to think about. And also we have an aspect where we think sometimes people are scared of animals and then they kill every animal that look alike. Like for example, snakes. Reptiles, we know we have 5 poisonous ones, deadly ones. So every time you find a reptile, you tend to kill because people are scared, because we don't identify them. So there's an aspect like that. The third one is the efforts of mitigation of these problems by people, which is of various folds. Conventionally, people use early warning systems for us to know what is something is happening in about few hours, few days, few months, even few years. So we react, we do use repellents, deterrents, sometimes, rarely population control. This I don't understand why, because people have been talking about human vasectomy, human hysterectomy for ages. But for animals, we tend to not talk about population control very much. We tend to concentrate on changing human behavior. For example, waste disposal. I find no problem with it, but then there has to be a balance in there as well. Now in these slides, I will talk about 6 animals that are in conflict with people in detail, but also altogether about 12 animals, 5 venomous snakes for the reason that I have listed above here, and 15 invasive animals. These animals are not dangerous for people, but they are dangerous for themselves and also other species who are living in the same climatic zone, ecological zone. And some animals dangerous in the sea, bees, wasps, and tarantulas that many people tend to forget. Now, as I said, it is an issue due to limited land availability, increasing population, water, food resources becoming limited, human populations increase like everywhere else in the world, and their needs increase, so their development sometimes planned, sometimes not planned. Jungles, rather than becoming small, now jungle coverage is reducing all over the world. But in Sri Lanka, if you monitor, jungle coverage reduction is not as fast as many other countries. But the point here is that the fragmentation of jungles is very fast here. So big animals cannot survive that easily. So river diversion is essential. These days we have a power crisis, no rain. So the little rain we get, we need to preserve, conserve, and produce electricity for agriculture. This is essential. And increasing productivity is also essential. We need more and more food. This has led to competition among and between animals. Food chains have been very seriously disturbed. Say, for example, if the water bodies contain heavy metals, insecticides, pesticides, weedicides, there'll be problems in growth, numbers, and these ones will affect individual animal species at different rates. So predators and prey both groups will be affected, but at different rates. Some instances, the prey will be less. Some situations, the predators will almost disappear. And pet spectrum, I told you. And also there is a thing that I must mention, where the pets are becoming pests. Like now say monkeys, people have a tendency to catch them, get them to perform various types of tricks, and also have them as, even though it is illegal to have them as pets. But when they are too big, too large, when you don't like them anymore, you just send them loose. And these animals don't know what to do because they're habituated. They don't know what they should do, and any other animal will not accept them either. Now, Sri Lanka is a country with a lot of jungle coverage, about 30%, little less. And we have a nice river system of rivers and road network, fairly good jungle coverage. But the human population is not evenly distributed. Some areas like here, the intensity of the color you can see, they are thinly populated, but western provinces very thickly, heavily populated. So there is discrepancy there. So among the problems, let me talk about the human-elephant conflict, the wild ones, wild elephants first, because this appears to be my bread and butter. Now, elephants, we think we have about 6,000 of them, few tuskers, about 120. And because of the problems that I told earlier, elephants get killed. Many people say they die. In fact, if you look into data, they actually get killed. Now, about 200 of them get killed, and also a little less than 100 people get killed. Now, snake bites, also 100 people, about 100 get killed a year. Many more get treated. There are other issues like rabies, for example, only 20-25 people a year get killed. It used to be about 100. So this is a problem of grave concern because the animal is disappearing, endangered, and also many people say that we need to look after our elephants in the wild. According to the carrying capacities, we have not calculated how many elephants we can carry. There's no point in trying to conserve many animals over and above the numbers that we can hold. There are many other ways of doing it, which we need to think about. Anyway, the elephants seem to be not learning about the rail tracks. And also this so-called development has produced so much of plastic, polythene waste, and conveniently people go and dump them in the jungles. That is why I said there need to be political will to solve this. Because this is happening even as close as in Dambulla, Habarana, and it's happening all over the place. There is no proper waste disposal. We seem to be not liking our own waste that we produce. So this is an issue that has to address at the school level or even at the levels of the home, where you become responsible for your own waste. Proper waste disposal is extremely important. You will see examples from elephants, turtles, and many other animals. And clearing jungles is the problem for this. Now, the second thing that I must tell you is captive elephants. There's a lot of discussion about it. Some people say we don't need them. Some people say we need them. But it is no discussion that the captive elephant, is the one who carries the cards, is the one who attracts foreign tourists, is the one who is in the culture, then the country, the state is responsible for maintaining the culture. So the decision of having captive elephants or not having it is somebody else's. But our approach has to be, if the captive elephants have to be there, we need to look after them in the best possible way, not necessarily conventional way, not necessarily traditional way, but in the best possible way so that the stress can be minimum. So the address has to, now this is an animal that does not tolerate temperature changes very well because they don't sweat. Then very little sweat glands, they sweat only on the nail beds. So their dress has to be looked into and laws have to be come in and have to be implemented properly. Now the captive elephants, we also have seen, these are not done by Sri Lankans, but playing polo and football. They are very popular sports. But if The system does not know how to cool itself. Say, for example, if the car does not have a radiator, the car will not work. So it is like that. This is a big vehicle without a radiator. So when he does not know what to do when there's too much heat produced. So playing polo is out of the question. I don't think elephant is ready to exercise up to that extent. Now this is a play situation where a man has killed, elephant has killed a man, captive elephant. And I have witnessed 35 of these situations. I have captured the elephant and also removed the dead body, because when captive elephants kill, they generally guard the body. This is the incident that happened in Galle Samanala Stadium when they played polo like this. I was the official vet on this day, years ago. And I did not. There were thousands of people, hundreds of vehicles. He decided to disturb only this van, nothing else. And many people shouted saying the elephant has to be tranquilized, but I didn't do a thing. And up to this date, no one asked me why I did not tranquilize. This shows very clearly that everyone knows about it. Everyone knows what the problem is. This is a man-made issue. We should not get the animal to suffer for things that we make. So I decided not to. And it was good decision, because immediately afterwards he was put into a lorry, and I went and even took a sample of blood immediately afterwards. Now there are situations that people actually ask for trouble, knowing that the elephant is 5,000 kilos and we are not even 100 kilos. You go see elephants in the jungle and then try to play around with elephants. And you see these days, there is also some video clip that is being circulated in the media of some similar event. This should not be done. We must if we respect animals, we must let them live peacefully. Now I must tell you a story, something that happened to me in real. Now about 15-20 years ago, from Kataragama temple, I got a call in the afternoon about 2 o'clock from the chief custodian that one of his elephants have killed the keeper in Buttala, and for me to go to Buttala, tranquilize the elephant, take the dead body of the man out, because he was guarding the body. So I started immediately with 2 final year vet students with the guns to tranquilize. So when I left, it was sunny here in Kandy. Through the Rajamavat, I went to Buttala. It was about 6 o'clock, getting dark very fast, and it started drizzling. So I had to get into the Manik Ganga to dart. It was raining, so I got into the river, but I could not focus well the gun because of the rain. Rain was falling onto my eyelashes. So I wanted one of the final year students to hold an umbrella while standing on a stone, so that I get a better, clearer view. I'd have no time to waste because it was getting darker. So I told him to hold an umbrella. He held the umbrella, and then I shot. And immediately afterwards, I heard the student falling into the river with the umbrella. So now there's an elephant that has got a shot of anesthetic, deadly drug, dangerous drug. There was a dead man, dead body already on the other side of the river. And also a final year undergraduate that is getting flushed down in the river. So I did not know what to do. First thing I said was to leave the umbrella. You know what he said? He said, I can't leave it because my new girlfriend gave it only 2 days ago. So I had to throw the gun to the shore and jump and save him. Otherwise there would have been 2 people dead today. Okay. Anyway, now what do we do for human-elephant conflict? Many things conventionally, but using fire, all types of fire in all different ways is one popular thing. Lot of people shouting. If the elephant is not habituated, they run away. So this is examples. Now the bees. It is a question whether bees in Sri Lanka would be effective against elephants, because they are not bigger, not poisonous enough, not vicious enough. In Africa, it is a good thing, but bees is not very successful here. And also there is this orange project in Wasgama, where orange citrus fruits are grown along the area to protect elephants from coming into home gardens. That work seems to be working very well. And the crop gives some income to people also. Anyway, partly at different levels, the electric fence seems to be in use. Sometimes poles with logs, wooden, sometimes cemented, all types of logs. but electric fence. Most of the time solar operated. But there are a lot of problems, can't maintain. Someone has to be given the trust to maintain it. Undergrowth can come and disorganize the system, and then it doesn't work anymore. Elephants learn very fast how to break this. Unless you put a concrete pole like this and leave some space, they can also kick and break. Now, there are some places where the boards are put up. So the fences sometimes are put up with trenches. Now, a lot of attention is paid to cut trenches these days. It does not work unless you cement it. Now, there are also groups of people who are working on collars. For example, aversive collars, you know it yourself from the IFS, that we are also working, trying to see whether we could send a SMS to an elephant to a collar that is wearing, and for him to go away, withdraw into the jungle on his own. So these are new things that are happening. But what generally people say now is that we need to do a paradigm shift and to see whether fences have to be used in a different way. Of course, yes, if you go and put up a house in a village with a lot of thieves, you don't go and put up fences around houses of the thieves. You put up a fence around your house. So what has to be done is to put up the fence around villages, around cultivations, to protect what we want. Then there are people also to safeguard the fence. So we have evidence of places, at least 100, where people have put up fences, electric fences, solar operated, never broken by elephants. These are places very close to elephant corridors. So there has to be a thinking difference. Rather than restricting elephant movements, sometimes including the corridors, to put up the fences around the property and people. And people then look after the fence as well, and then elephants would look up because they're at large. Now the captive elephants, one word, because all captive elephants they are essentially wild animals. They are not domesticated. They're captive. Some of them, few of them are born in captivity, but mostly they are captured from the wild, and different techniques are used to break them, to domesticate them, and also subsequently to train them to go in positions like this. And they have a very good memory. You can see fire, noise, and people. All three are used to train them for this purpose. Now, all these three are used to chase elephants away in the jungles. So they have to be conditioned for this. So there has to be a lot of professional attention to this, and the traditional methods should not be used. There has to be professional input, not necessarily emotional. Now, emotion and profession, they are two different things. I'm not saying professionals are not emotion. They do not have emotions. They do have to have emotions. But then it has to be extended, expressed in a professional manner. Of course, legislation and implementation has to be done. And about 3 to 5 people get killed every year by captive elephants. But this data is not available, and we don't talk about it very much. The second one is the monkeys. And we know we have several types of monkeys, basically 3, red-faced, black, and also the leaf monkey, gray, like dry zone, there are red-faced monkeys. There are differences in these 3 types. And even the black langurs, in their distribution, they are different, 4 types. And grey langurs are almost all over in the country in this area. Now, we need to know where the problems are. There's no need for me to tell you what the problem is, because the problem is all over in almost all schools, especially in girls' schools, not in the boys' schools very much. They don't seem to be scared of girls. And we need to quantify what the problem is, how much the problem is, and what is the financial loss, which we have done. I'll tell you in a short while. And solutions, first one I have listed as responsible garbage disposal, because it is important and we need to pay attention. We need to change ourselves. We don't seem to be doing that. Now, say, for example, if you put up a new hospital in Peradeniya, we will put up another pedestrian crossing across the road. That's not the way we need to do. We need to change. We need to utilize the existing system to get to the hospital. So look at the infrastructure, administration, and also the political will. To make it easier does not work. That has to stop. We have to change our approach. and various types of repellents for monkeys and deterrents will work, but very transient, very temporary. Monkey being a very close relative of ours, like the loris. Loris is slow. We have not had problems so far, but we will have problems in time to come. But monkeys learn very fast, and especially when they get habituated, they will not go away anyway. Now, for example, right now we are catching some monkeys at one of the girls hostels in the university, and we operate them with the help of the wildlife department, of course. We operate them using the laparoscopic techniques, so there is no cut. This is called keyhole surgery. You look at the screen and then you cut off either the fimbriae or the oviducts to make sure that they don't reproduce. Also, the males are castrated or vasectomized. Those who are doing this in the final year vet faculty students, they are all here. And also at the inception, those who did it, she's also here from the land use ministry. So these things don't work, but we are working on the population control. Of course, very few can be done on a day. Now, monkeys can sometimes be a real nuisance like this. You must never feed monkeys, because if you feed your relative, you know what happens the day after. They'll come and ask for food because he's your relation. You can feed your friends, not relatives, because they'll ask for it. If you don't give it, they come and demand. Because you are my relation, you have to give. You have to give me because you are my friend. Now, you can see the damage they do. They do various types of destruction, and also they annoy you. More than destruction, they annoy, irritate you because they are clever. Now, responsible garbage waste disposal is very important. Separation of garbage, food, and sometimes you must pay more attention to dispose garbage to make sure that the monkeys cannot open the lids. And you do it yourself. You open up forcefully, put the garbage in, close it, and the monkeys cannot open. This is a photograph of a situation in Haliala about 15 years ago. We captured some of the monkeys to do population control, surgeries, open surgeries like this. This is the tract of the female reproductive tract, the body of the uterus and the horns. We cut this open and remove the tract to make sure that they don't reproduce. For males, we did castration like this, but there was so much of blood people could see. We wanted a lot of help from the villagers. It is villagers who will have to do this. Capturing is more important than the surgery. Surgical is a skill. There are veterinary surgeons who can do this. But the most important thing is to capture them. So I took the temple as the center to make sure to tell the general public that this is not, we are not angry with monkeys. We want to set up a situation where both groups live together. But of course, the numbers have to be controlled. Once monkeys are habituated, it is extremely difficult to keep them away. Now, right now, for example, the monkeys that we catch in the university, in the girls' hostel, we operate, we put up a mark, and we release them in the same place. But from the following day, they keep coming back again, sometimes even into the same trap. Knowing that if you go in there, you get caught, you tend to forget things, you get anesthetized, and also you end up with 3 holes. But still they keep coming, so they are habituated. Translocation is something that we don't do anymore, we don't recommend it anymore because of the genetic issues of the monkeys. Now, I must tell you, years ago I went to Kataragama, like it was me after the year that I went to catch the elephant, because monkeys are also a problem in Kataragama. They jump into the puja vattiyas that you take. So I went there and tranquilized some of the male monkeys and did all types of conventional control methods, shaving, coloring, painting, castration, all that. And then I returned. 3 months later, the vehicle went to Kataragama. Vehicle in which I went to Kataragama went back on a pilgrimage to Kataragama. And the monkeys came and scraped the entire vehicle. They were so angry. I think they remembered. And no other vehicle was injured. So you must not mess around with monkeys. Now, even the masks that you use, you have to be very careful, because monkeys, if the moment they get to know that this is a man behind the mask, they'll learn it very fast. Now, this is a study that we did because we thought it was only the monkey that is giving trouble. With the help of the land use ministry, the lady who is here, and she has a very capable team with a lot of capacity, severely underutilized, I should say. I should say, in Yatidwara area, we identified some villages in a correct way, and we tried to ask people what type of animals do come and create trouble to you. And we selected houses in the right, statistically correct way. We identified 80 houses, and we asked, most of them are full-time farmers, and they seem to have used various types of means of repellents. These were the animals in the sequence. Now, wild boar was the commonest. Second was actually porcupine. Third was the monkey. But people tend to talk much about monkeys. Now, what happened to the boar? Boar was protected, and now boar is not protected anymore. So people consider boar is not a problem because he comes, you shoot, you kill, eat. It's not an issue. But boar is the most frequent issue. And second is the porcupine. It is not before very long we need to think about the porcupine, how to control. Mooncake, yes, deer is an issue, and various types of squirrels is the next. And the hare is an issue, and peacock, which used to be confined to dry zone, now is even found in the university land. It is almost all over. So many things have changed, food chains have changed, systems have changed, and munias, Vikurula, and the flying foxes, and the bandicoot. You know, these animals could even carry various types of germs that could come into people, and monkeys are supposed to be carrying dengue. Now the monkeys that we capture, we test them for dengue, because they are also very close relatives of ours. We are also trying to test them for COVID-19. They all arranged. Now, this is the frequency. So wild boar is the commonest, second is the porcupine, third is the macaque, the monkey. But people keep talking about the monkey, not these two very much. And you could also see other animals. And income loss, you can see vast majority of them lose about 2,000 rupees a month. But there are individuals who lose about 10,000 a month. And these are the effects of damage. Most people say the produce is less, but some people have even abandoned the land. Most people use conventional methods, covering land, and some people also use air rifles to kill. Some people just give up the land. This is the way people cultivate, using nets. This is how people sleep. So the crops have to be protected to this extent, and fair proportion of people. Now you could see you can buy saris for 200 rupees. So all ladies, you must make a note of it. Saris are cheaper in this area because these are used saris though. That is to cover the land to make sure that no animal would come in. This is covered with saris. And the electric scarecrow and the indigenous scarecrow. You could see Yatidwara has some jungle patches. All problems is because of this. So who is right, who is wrong is a question. In another study, with the help of this same land use ministry crowd and also IFS and chemistry department, we all know that monkey's predator is the leopard. Leopard can kill monkeys and eat. So we use leopard feces applied on trees, fruit trees in Gannorua, and we also got people to disguise themselves as a big monkey with a mask and a raincoat. And some of the people used dogs disguised as leopards like this. And we also brought some instruments from India that could emit sound waves that could repel monkeys. This was the best successful thing. Monkeys that have never seen leopard were very scared of this. They ran about 150 meters and they never returned for about a month. This one was successful. But in the evenings, those who go to put up a little drink, they came and played around with the mask and also with the raincoats. And the monkeys noticed it. From that day onwards, they were not scared. They knew this was a man behind this. The dogs, monkeys ran away, but then they started barking. Then they knew leopards don't bark. This one, we modified the Indian one. This is not an Indian one. This we have modified. And now we have got some good results. Even now we are testing it in the university. We are almost in the final stages of repelling them. But one thing. All these, now the chemistry department in the Faculty of Science is working on this leopard feces, trying to see which fraction of the feces can repel monkeys. But very transient, very temporary effects. But all these are very transient, temporary effects. Third one is the squirrel, various types of squirrel, giant squirrel, flying squirrel, home squirrel. Home squirrel is a trouble in Colombo almost everywhere. It is a menace. It eats almost everything for food and also to put up the nests. And giant squirrel eats all coconuts. It destroys ceilings of houses. It eats almost everything. So the squirrel is a problem. How do we sort it out? A gun that cost about 30,000 rupees can be bought for 18,000 rupees now. It is given to shoot. That's not the way to balance the ecology, but that is what is happening. Now imagine a father trying to shoot monkeys around the house. The son who is in grade 2, you think he will keep cool? In time to come, we are asking for trouble. Trouble inside the house. The son will take the gun and point it at the father. Not before too long. This has to be stopped. Crocodile. Many people have lost because they get into water unsafely. They don't care much about it. These are generally poor people. They get into water to bathe, clean, wash, all that. And then many crocodiles, mostly sea water, salt water, but also freshwater crocodiles. There are habitual killers also. Crocodile is an issue. And Wildlife Department is doing its level best to educate people, to protect the nests of crocodiles and all that. But still, crocodile is in serious conflict with people. Turtles, I mean, there's no point in me trying to say about crocodiles when Lalit is here, and also I could see Kapur Singh is also coming tomorrow, day after. They are veterans in the subject. I've been knowing them for about 20, 30 years. I know they started this poaching eggs from the Montessoris they started. So they know a lot about it. But turtles, we are so lucky. We get all types of turtles into the country in various places. But waste disposal, you could see polythene in this turtle. So when you dispose polythene, there is trouble. But bycatch in the fishing nets, you could see a turtle here. And what fishermen do is when they are caught, because the turtles keep eating fish, they somehow injure the turtle to make sure that turtle becomes either kill the turtle or injure the turtle permanently so that it bleeds and it becomes painful. We have tried to surgically correct this, and we have done it. It is a professional job, but the issue is that this has to be stopped, because turtle is an animal that brings in a lot of foreign currency. Tourists come sometimes to see only 5 types of turtles, and many people's livelihood. There are turtle hatcheries, and foreigners appear to be liking the way that they release little ones to the sea. So turtle is an issue with people. Leopard, I have gone and released some of the leopards caught into snares myself. Wildlife Department is again trying its level best to control this protected animal, beautiful animal, but he has no food. He gets attracted to dogs. Dog is the delicacy. And waste disposal, especially you know what happened in Norelia. Waste was disposed, garbage was dumped in an open area. A lot of dogs come, leopard come to eat the dog. Now when the leopard gets habituated, he comes looking for dogs, goats, and also sometimes people, and also calves into the villages. So we have to be very careful. If we are to protect the leopard, we need to attend to the problem not before too long, because this animal is also disappearing. Peacock, as I said at the inception, big trouble. Peacock is also known as the Mayura, because he eats snakes. But bigger snakes eat young ones and the eggs of the peacocks also. Peacock is all over the country because the predators have leopards, jackals, hawk, eagles, mongoose. They're all gone. Their numbers are reducing because of the imbalances in the ecosystem. So their numbers are reducing. So the peacock numbers are increasing. Peacock is a real destructive animal. Moreover, we don't want to do anything about the peacock because it is a vehicle of the god Khataragama. Now, we seem to be killing the rats. which is the vehicle of Kataragama God's brother, God for wisdom, but not Kataragama God's vehicle. His brother's vehicle, we don't mind catching because of the leptospirosis. So there's something else here. There's more to it. We need to see into that. Peacock also eats almost everything like the monitor. He eats almost anything that we have listed here. But these are the predators of the peacock. There are 5 types of poisonous animals, poisonous snakes in the country. And about little less than 100 people get killed every year. We have to buy antivenom from India every year, millions of rupees. And many deaths have been prevented due to this. And also, we all know that the genetic composition of Indian snakes are different to Sri Lankan ones. Therefore, the antivenom composition does not really work for bites of the Sri Lankan animals. Therefore, 2 groups of scientists are working to produce antivenom here in Sri Lanka. And I'm working with one of those groups. They are trying to establish most modern techniques of producing antivenom here using our own snakes. It will be in Galaha. So the reason why I have put up these ones is to show that identification of snakes is very important, because most of the snakes, there are close to 100 species of snakes, and most of them are non-poisonous or semi-poisonous. So if people know that this animal is not a poisonous one, they would not kill. Now, what is happening right now is anything that does not have legs, that keeps moving, looking like a crate or looking like this, a viper, you kill. This should not be the way that it is. It has to be. Anyway, there are scorpions like that. There are also snakes in the sea, especially in the northern part. Sea snakes, dangerous ones. So this is the bottle of Indian antivenom. We hope we will not be able to bring it very soon into the country. Now, the invasive animals in the water. We know knife fish, we always keep talking about the mannea, and the catfish, 2 species of catfish, guppies. Tilapia is an animal that we used to eat, grow and eat, Mosambica, tilapia mosambica, and mosquito fish. Carps, popular fish. Gurami is also a problem to other animals. And you can see 2 species of snails. Not these snails, but there are other types of snails that are transmitting various types of diseases in animals and also in people, but not these 2. So these 2 are growing at a rate. There is some imbalance. And also slugs are becoming problems, 2 types of slugs. Slider turtle is a problem even in Kandy. We have come across some slider turtles. It is a problem. Dog, cat, feral, and also buffalo are also an issue. They are listed as invasive animals. And the rats and mouse, house mouse and ship rat, these are also spreading diseases. Not mostly bandicoots transmit leptospirosis, but these ones also can carry it. Now in the sea, one thing that we always forget. The reason why I have put it in here is it is the shipwreck that put Lalit into contact with me very lately. That was the last time we contacted. First thing I said is, as long as Lalit is there, I don't mind joining the group. But in the sea, we have puffish. Now, most of these things are there in our Indian Ocean, except the sharks. Pufferfish, octopus, small octopus, and stonefish, lionfish. Sharks we don't have, but there are 2 types of sharks, but they can kill people. And also sea snakes, various types of snakes. Stingray is here in our Indian Ocean. Barracuda fish is also there, and jellyfish we have in our Indian Ocean. The last one is bees. There's a lot of demand in this country for bees honey, and only 1/3 is produced. There are many people living on bees, and there are also groups of people, an association in the country of bee growers, and it is based in Kandy. these beekeeping people, the association, do produce honey of good quality, and also from the wax, they produce all types of applications on the skin for girls to become more beautiful. So bees are extremely important that way. But bees, sometimes when they get agitated, they can sting people. They cannot kill people, but then wasps can. Wasps, when you have a wasp hive, you don't know what to do with it. And they seem to be holding their hives in places where there is humidity. What we normally do is we tell the bee people, come and remove them. But bees honey and also wasp honey is also used for various types of medicaments, but we do not import them. Now the danger here is that their venom gland, when they sting you, sometimes they die or the fly goes away. But the venom equipment, the anatomical organ, can pump in venom on its own. It has autonomic nervous system. So even if the bee or the animal is not there, it will keep pumping the poison into your body. And the last picture is of this tarantula, the spider. This can kill people, and we do have it in Sri Lanka. We have to be very careful about it. Anyway, that's all what I had to say. These are some of the references. And thank you very much for your patient listening. Thank you very much.